Hello and a very warm welcome to the beautiful bay here in Golfo Aranci for the continued coverage of the 2024 Open Water Swimming World Cup Series. Coming up in just a few minutes time, we'll bring you all the action in the 4x1500m mixed relay live from Italy, and a bit of excitement surrounding today's race. 6 teams set to take to the water, 2 from Italy. The home nation yet to see a win from the Golfo Aranci stop. Yesterday, of course, we saw the coverage of the men's and the women's 10 kilometers with Marc-Antoine Olivier and Ana Marcela Cunha taking home victories in what was thrilling days of racing. We're hoping to see much more here today, as we are, as mentioned, only minutes away from starting.
Quando inizia la gara di non muovervi in questa banchina perché balla tutto quanto. Ieri è fatto un film. Grazie.
So as mentioned, well, a warm welcome to you all as we get ready here in Golfo Aranci. This is stop 2 of the 2024 Open Water Swimming World Cup Series, proudly brought to you by World Aquatics. Today we will see the action in the 4x1500m mixed relay with 6 teams set to compete. We're only minutes away from our introduction of our athletes. 2 teams representing the home nation in Italy, Hungary, Brazil, China, and Germany looking to take home the win as well. It's going to be 4 very exciting laps of racing here in what has been an incredible venue for competition. The second year we've been racing here in Golfo Aranci, and I'm sure once more today will prove frivolous for some incredible racing. Hello and a very warm welcome to the beautiful bay here in Golfo Aranci for the continued coverage of the Open Water Swimming World Cup Series. Coming up in just a few minutes time, we will bring you all the action in the 4x1500 mix relay, live from Italy. Today I'm joined by Tokyo 2020 Olympian Alice Deering. And Alice, there's a fair bit of buzz and excitement surrounding today's event.
With the number 1 representing Hungary, per l'Ungheria, Mira Zimax, Bettina Fabian, David Bethlehem, and
So we are now introducing some of our athletes. 6 teams taking to the water today. An update there for Hungary: Mira Zimax, Bettina Fabian, David Bethlehem, and Krzysztof Rozovsky. Heavy favorites ahead of today's competition. Our second Italian team: Barbara Pozzobon, Sophie Kalova-Platen, Mario Sanzullo, and Dario Varani. They can get in striking distance. Dario Varani on the anchor will be very hard to keep out of the medals. Up next, the Brazilians, yet to see Vivian Jongblut, Ana Marcela Cunha. She was incredible yesterday. Add to them Matthias Malechi. He's actually leading our junior rankings for the moment. Up next, the People's Republic of China, the only team today racing in a different format to any other team. They're going female, male to finish out that team. Jinjin, the 2019 world champion in that team. Up next, the home favorites, Italy #1, Ginevra Taducci, Veronica Santoni, Andre Filadelli, and Gregorio Paltrineri. They are surely a formidable match as they look to take home their first win here in Golfo Aranci. The Germans, the returning champions, Jeanette Spielwerks, Leonie Beck, alongside Jonas Kusch and Nicholas Brock. Can they hold it up to the rest of the competitors to see if they can retain their gold medal at this stop? The relay has become somewhat of a stalwart of these competitions here. The World Cups have played host to some great races in the past, and I'm sure we'll see that take place once more as we get a final overview of our start list. As we mentioned, 6 teams in the water today: Hungary, Italy, Brazil, China, Italy again, and Germany. The last couple of races have been fought between Germany, Italy, and France, so we were without the French and the Australians today. But other than that, the main fighting contenders will take to the water. So they are out on that starting platform. And apologies for the delayed start. A thunderstorm rolled through a little over 40 minutes ago, but we are in the hands of the starters now and looking forward to what will be a great race as we have 6 of our female athletes lined up and ready to go. It's going to be interesting to see how the tactics play into it. Who will be able to get away? That's going to be the key here. If they can get some separation in the female legs, it will open the doors for their male swimmers. Each team have slightly varying tactics as they get ready to start. We saw yesterday Vivian Jongblut through the back stages of that race. Can she replicate that form today? It was a while between drinks for Jongblut yesterday, claiming her first medal since way back in 2018. So she's in fantastic form. Can she help her team, Brazil, come through for the victory? Moments away from the start as we move into the hands of the starters. And underway here in Golfo Aranci, this is the mix 4x1500 relay. 4 laps taking part, 6 teams in the water, 3 countries taking home medals. What will the order be? We'll find out in a little over an hour's time. As we mentioned, 6 female athletes in the water. It's a bit of a different showing to what we've seen in the past couple of World Cup stops. All of these countries would be looking to take home some medals today. Currently in the water, we have Mira Sizamak, Barbara Pozobon, Vivian Jungblut, Yihao Man, Genevieve Taducci, and Jeanette Spyworks. We saw yesterday that Jeanette Spyworks was good. She finished 16th at the World's Championships earlier this year in both the 5 kilometers and the 10 kilometers. So she does have that speed to compete with the best in the world. But unequivocally yesterday, the best performer currently in the water, Genevieve Taducci. She was second last year in the 10 kilometers. She was just outside the medals yesterday, but did a lot of the work before the big 3 came home and really stormed into that medal contention. But second was also a very strong performance, and that was Vivian Jungblut, who currently leads us for Brazil. As we mentioned pre-race, it's been a while between medals for Vivian, and she is looking sensational early on, as is this venue here in Golfo Aranci. There's few better places to swim in the world, and that is the absolute privilege for some of our athletes. So through the first turn can, only 6 swimmers in the field, so far smaller than the field that they had to maneuver yesterday, where we had 60 in the men's race, 53 in the women's. But Jungblut swimming next to Jeanette Spyworks, doing a great job. Mira Sizamak just tucked in behind. I would love to see a little bit of separation here. I think that's how the Brazilians get it done today. If they can get some separation through the first 2 legs, be that of Vivian Jungblut and of course Ana Marcela Cunha, then that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the differentiator. If they get Matheus Melechi, who is a rising star of the sport, only 18 years of age, currently leading our junior point series for the men, and Lucas Machado to anchor them home. But so far, Spyworks also with a similar idea. So Spyworks is cruising through the water. It's a similar idea for Brazil. Germany, through Spyworks and Beck, will be looking to give Kush and Frock the best possible opportunity to move through on those final stages. We'll see how it plays out here, but a big move by Taducci now, moving into her stroke and getting a bit of room. So this is lap 1 of 4. This is the 4x1500m mixed relay. Today I am joined by Tokyo 2020 Olympian Alice Deering. And Alice, there's a fair bit of buzz around today's event, and the girls are doing a great job in this opening lap.
Absolutely. It's great to see the women back in the water, fighting it out, giving us a really good go at this actually. It's looking tough, it's looking busy as well. They're doing really well.
So Taducci out in front, that high stroke rate once again. The key to the wins that we've seen from these relays of late has been able to get some separation from the rest of the field. Do you think Taducci is going to be able to pull away from the likes of Spyworks and Jungblut?
She's definitely going to put in a big effort to be able to do so, to give her team the best opportunity. She, I guess, is taking it out fairly early on. You know, it's still 1,500 meters, so she's got still a good, like, maybe 10, 12 minutes of swimming left. It's going to be tough, it's challenging. Hopefully she can get someone to help her a little bit, and they can create a decent breakaway for both of their teams.
And obviously the field significantly smaller than yesterday's fleet of athletes. We have only got 6 swimmers in the water in comparison to the field of 60 and 53 yesterday. Do you think that they can use those smaller fields to maneuver themselves around and create opportunities for separation?
Absolutely. Smaller groups like this, you really have to stay in touch with everybody. You know, the moment you lose feet and potentially get dropped, it makes it so much more difficult for yourself, but also for your team to get back into it. So they will be fighting it out, making sure that they are sticking with each other. And it can be more difficult sometimes to be in these smaller groups because you don't have people to pick up and help you move through. Once that connection's lost, it's very difficult to get it back.
And the Chinese team have Yihao Mao in the water next, Yinhao Zhang up next, the second swimmer for China. They've got the only differing strategy here with a female male strategy, hoping to get themselves up into podium contention. What do you reckon the best strategy is with most of the field now moving to a female male?
This will be really interesting to see from China, whether they create a substantial breakaway to make it worse having a man used earlier on. I think it would be exciting to see teams start to experiment with other options besides female, male, because it creates a more dynamic and fun race for us to watch, if I'm being completely honest. Is of course strategically you want to do what's best for your team to win, so it makes sense putting women at the front, but it's always more interesting when you have a man thrown amongst a woman or a woman thrown amongst a man to see, can the woman keep up with the man, how long can she stay in touch with them, and what opportunities does that give her team coming in the water afterwards.
And we saw yesterday Yinhao Zhang was electric off the start line. He was flying through that first 200 meters, actually opened up a bit of space between himself and the rest of the field. Do you think we'll see those speedier athletes start to transition over to this relay format and spice up, I guess, what the current offerings are with open water?
Yes, definitely. I think the more opportunities that you get to go to World Championships, hopefully potentially go to Olympic Games for this event in the future, you're going to see more and more people want to pick this up. You'll get people from the 1500, from the 800, getting in open water. And when you're in conditions like this, you know, I know we had a thunderstorm before, but it's very flat, it's very calm. And this is basically akin to pool swimming, where you're getting in, you're giving it a good try, and you have like one focus in mind, and that is swimming as fast as you can and keeping up with everybody else. So I think we'll start to see a lot of pool swimmers take up these opportunities and start to transfer over.
Yeah, and on that, you mentioned the thunderstorm, and apologies once more for all watching around the world. We've had to postpone the stream by 30 minutes, but obviously swimmer safety is our number 1 priority. How would that have affected the athletes with their preparations? Do you think you can just swap your prep with an extra 30 minutes in the marshalling deck, or would that have played on the nerves of the athletes out there today?
I think luckily it's happened on the relay day, where compared to the 10, it's a more relaxed environment anyway, I found, because you're swimming with your teammates, and there's still so much excitement, anticipation, and nerves in the air. That's not to say they're going to be completely relaxed or anything like that, but having your teammates around, knowing that you're competing for your country and with your fellow countrymen, always makes it a bit more exciting. So that extra half an hour, honestly, I don't think would have stressed them out too much. My personal way of approaching open water was always be prepared for the unexpected. So things like an extra half an hour, you're just like, okay, if we're warming up in the water, I'll just get in later. They would have known like fairly early on from when they woke up that there's probably going to be a bit of a delay to it. And of course, that's the thing, priority is always going to be safety. So we're really lucky that the conditions have calmed down. It's looking absolutely beautiful, and I'm sure they're having a fantastic swim.
Yeah, what a lucky experience for these athletes to be racing in what is a beautiful part of the world for the second time. The Italians leading us at the moment, Ginevra Taducci. She was magnificent in the women's 10 kilometers yesterday, continuing that form once more. Very high stroke rate, sitting around that 95 to 105 strokes per minute. Is that unusual for a swimmer like Taducci? She's obviously ramped up that speed from the 10 kilometers.
Yeah, that is such an impressive stroke rate, and she's having such an amazing swim here because, you know, having to start, having to lead the pack around, she's really putting in a great effort for her team, and you can really see how hard she is swimming to give her team the best chance. And also, yeah, with her stroke and her stroke technique, to come off the back of a 10K where she swam absolutely fantastically, had a great swim, and putting in an effort like this, it's just amazing to see the power and the strength that she's putting out.
Starts to get interesting at this point of the race where, you know, those head ups, those straight lines become ever so crucial, especially as we move forward through the different laps and there's a bit more separation between the athletes. Taducci, she's been sighting quite frequently, but you see these different lines starting to form as they get closer and closer to the handover. You think Jungblood's going to be aware of that and hoping to shoot forward when that opportunity comes up?
Yes, this is always the interesting thing about swimming in smaller packs like this, is that when you realise, or if you realise the person in front of you has taken a dodgy line, I'm not saying Taducci has, but it's just if that starts to happen, it's that balance of, okay, I've been using their draft, how much energy have I got, how much speed have I got to be able to come past them and take a better line and, you know, really take it into the finish. So it's going to be really interesting to see if anyone tries to come round Taducci or if they just carry on following her into the handover area.
We look at the athletes coming up for these countries. With Italy, they're going to hand over from Taducci to Veronica Santini, who was 14th yesterday in the 10 kilometers, and really an up-and-comer for Italy. But for Brazil and for Germany, you have Ana Marcela Cunha and Leonie Beck, two of the greatest in the world currently. We've also got Sophie Carlo Van Platen coming in for Italy, and Bettina Fabian. So I think we're going to start seeing those different groups start to form, and a big job ahead for Veronica Santoni to keep touch with the likes of those three.
Yes, the nerves will be kicking in the waiting swimmers at the moment. You know, making sure they get their handover right, making sure that everything's clean. You know, we have seen a few disqualifications in the past because of issues like that. So you just want to make sure it's clean, it's done, and then you get in and swim as hard as you can. And the effort that these women are putting out now is just, it is immense. You know, off the back of a 10K, coming in this morning and putting down a 1,500 meters best effort is so challenging. It's absolutely great to see them all committing to it and giving it their best.
Now, Alice, we have a bit of a personal bet going on between Hungary and Italy. You think that Krzysztof Rozovsky on the anchor there is potentially going to get the win, but Gregorio Paltrineri, although he wasn't as strong yesterday, he's still obviously one of the fastest men of all time. So, you happy with your pick still? You think Hungary still got the win?
Man, this is honestly, they're all such good swimmers. I really think, I hope it comes down to a close race. I think it will. You know, they're competitive. No one's really letting anyone get it their own way at the moment. You know, Vivian's still in touch with Taducci, and Jeanette Spirox isn't too far behind. You know, it's very dynamic. I think a lot's going to happen, a lot's going to change. You know, we've still got like about 45 minutes, maybe 40 minutes of swimming left, so a lot can happen in then. But I feel like your prediction with Italy is looking very strong. You know, they have such an amazing team, so much talent to draw from, and you know, if they can bring home the gold in their home setting, how beautiful will that be?
Oh, absolutely. They're yet to win here in Golfo Aranci yet. We know that there's some passionate fans on the edge of their seat around the bay here, cheering on the Italians. Jeanette Spyworks moving forward. She is in fantastic form. The last time she won a medal at a World Cup level was back in 2018. So 6 years between medals, and firing right time as we head into the Olympic Games. How hard is that to do as an athlete, to sort of have such a long period between those I guess, monumental achievements?
Yes, I always think this is so interesting because you know, the years go so fast that you don't really realize like 2018 was like 6 years ago, or like 2016 was 8 years ago, and it just goes so quickly. And you know, with the open water circuit, whilst we race a lot and it's very competitive, there are only so many races that you can do in a year, just because it demands so much of your body. So before you know it, the season's over, you're moving into another year, and they just tick on by very quickly. So I always think the determination from the athletes stays strong and is always there, because it moves on so fast that before you know it, it might have been 6 years since you're on the podium or something like that, but it might not feel like it to the athlete.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'm sure with the Olympic Games just around the corner, training hard has been ever so slightly easier, but it is starting to shape up here. They've only got about 100 meters left to swim. So they come down towards the end of lap number 1. It is Jongblut that's pulled up alongside Taducci, and we have currently Spyworks just rounding out the top 3. China just behind that top pack, but they will be in contention very shortly. But we've got some big names coming up here. Cunha, Beck, Santoni, it's all on the line. Brazil lead, Italy, Germany in third. And Alice, this is going to be a very interesting dynamic here. Does Leonie Beck move across to Ana Marcela Cunha and try and work together to get rid of Santoni?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting leg. You know, it's basically a dead heat at the moment. I think there will be some tactics going on here. You know, there will be some fatigue from yesterday. You might not want to absolutely go and hammer it down the first kilometer or something like that, because if you blow up in the last 500 meters, it can be a really painful and long couple minutes back to hand over to your teammate, and it can be a little bit, it could be detrimental to your team if you do fall apart in those crucial final few meters. So it'll be really interesting to see how the rest of the field play it, especially having a man in there. The Chinese swimmer is going to come through quite quickly here, and it looks like the women are maybe potentially waiting a little bit to get his draft. That's probably what I would be doing. Just make it a little bit easier for yourself. But at the moment, you know, it's still such a tight pack, and we just see the Chinese swimmer coming through now.
Yeah, this is where the relay gets so exciting, the different dynamics that play out here. We know currently sitting in 6th position, but coming through fast is Jinhao Zhang. 37th yesterday in the 10 kilometers, and you're right, Alice, the pace has come out. You can see Ana Marcela Cunha looking very relaxed, but it is of note that Bettina Fabian has moved up from 5th into, equals 2nd, I guess. That's a very strategic move there from Fabian. She knows that Bethlehem and Rozovsky, her 2 final swimmers, are going to come home with a flurry. So at the moment, it's really the Germans and the Brazilians that have to be cautious of letting Bettina Fabian and Victoria Santoni just hold on to that position. But here comes China. It's going to play a factor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This is it's going to be a very interesting lap, as we're handing over to a majority men and then one more woman. But yeah, it looks like Ana Marcela's just got a comfortable space at the moment, comfortable water. No one's fighting to get in front of her or anything like that. So we'll see what happens when they go around this buoy.
It looks like Jinhao Zhang is churning through on the inside of the can there. No respect given to some of the absolute champions that are around him, but that is the ruthless nature of competition here. It's going to be interesting because at the moment, Italy's second team in Sophie Carlo van Platen is in a little bit of a spot of bother. She is currently sitting in 6th position as Zhang moves forward. If you were where Platen is currently sitting on the back there, what's the move there? Whose feet are you trying to jump on, or is it just hold on for as long as you can?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to stay in touch with everyone as much as possible, especially this early on in the lap. You know, yeah, you can kind of get away with the last 5 or 6 meters having a little gap, but right now, you need to find feet, find white water, find some bubbles, and just follow that and like red line it for as long as you can and stick with it, because whilst it is 1,500 meters, it's not that long in comparison to, you know, we're swimming 10K, 5K, 25K. when you get dropped, it's still like a good 700-800 meters back home, potentially from wherever you get dropped, and it can feel like such a long time swimming by yourself, especially with the pressure of your team on you. You know, we don't, like, as marathon swimmers, traditionally getting to swim a relay is such an incredible opportunity, and I feel like we all absolutely love it. You know, getting to call yourself a relay swimmer as a distance swimmer is something that's quite rare and very new, of course. So it's the pressure of the team also will play a part on this, and we can see it stringing out a little bit now with the effort from China.
Yeah, and this is a situation that Ana Marcela Cunha is very familiar in. The way that the 25 kilometers was formerly raced at the World Championships is the men started earlier than the women's, but then eventually at a certain point in the race, the top men's field would catch up to the leading female group. So Ana Marcela Cunha almost made it a sport to jump across on those lead athletes, and that's exactly what she's trying to do now. As we come down, this is the halfway mark of the long straight on lap number 2 here. 2 of 4, of course. This is the 4x1500m freestyle relay. Zhang leads to Cunha. I guess, you know, we saw Cunha jump in the water, slow the pace down ever so slightly for this exact moment. She is, she's fallen off the back of Zhang, but she's trying to jump across. Do you think she'd be just trying to play a bit of games to get rid of the like of Leonie Beck and Bettina Fabian, or what is the strategy now? Do you think the pace comes back out of the race?
On this point of Cunha chasing the men, I absolutely love that. You know, it is so much fun when, as a woman, getting to chase a man in training. I did it all of the time growing up as a junior. It can really make you feel quite like invincible and strong, and you're like, oh my God, wow, I can swim this fast and I'm not putting in as much effort. So she will be doing her utmost to stick within touching distance of him. He has created a kind of a substantial gap now that she's probably not benefiting from his draft anymore, but the feeling that she would have had, like, moving with him and just even having someone to chase makes the race so much more exciting and keeps that adrenaline pumping. I always say it's much easier to chase than to be chased. So she knows that she's in a very strong and dominant position, especially handing over to 2 more men on her team.
And would it have impacted the rest of the field as well? Not only the slowing down off the start line, you know, taking the, I guess, the enthusiasm off the start of that lap too, but now the speeding up and really putting in some hard yards at the moment. That change of speed would be taking a toll on the likes of Santoni, who currently sitting in 4th position or 5th overall, and of course at the back Sophie Carlo Van Platen for Italy. Those athletes would have had to adjust pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely. It lulls you into a false sense of security, which it can be so dangerous because you get into a rhythm and a feeling like, oh, okay, this is comfortable, you know, this isn't as hard as I was expecting, and then bam, all of a sudden, you know, you've got the a man coming through. You've got Ana Marcela Cunha absolutely like redlining it at the front to stay within touching distance of him, and keep also just not having to sight as much. If you just sight the swimmer in front of you, it's much more it's much easier to just follow feet. So yeah, these women will be feeling it now. This is a very, very fast pace, and the fact that they are not being dropped too much by him displays how hard that they are swimming and how fast they are going to keep their teams in contention here.
And for Zhang out in front, the Chinese swimmer working really hard. What do you think he's going through at the moment? He's just trying to put in as much effort as he can because he knows Jinjin up next. She's going to have a tall task ahead of her with David Bethlehem, Mario Sanzullo, Matthias Malechi, Andrea Filidelli and Jonas Kusch ready to race. It's a tall task for the former world champion.
Yes, absolutely. He will be thinking, okay, I need to go as hard as I can. And it can be so difficult swimming off the front by yourself like that because you kind of have no indication of how your pace is going. You know, he's not looking back. He's focusing on going forward as he should be. He's doing exactly the right thing. And he's going to want to put Zinzin in the best position as possible, that she has a good start, she can set up her pace, and when the men do catch her up, hopefully it's as late on in the lap as possible, that she can stick with them for maybe 300, 400, 500 meters, and then it will basically be a level playing field once we get to the final leg, which will all be men again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. We mentioned before, for the Brazilians and the and the German, they've got a younger quartet to bring them home in. Matthias Maletti, Lucas Machado in for Brazil, and then Jonas Kusch and Nicholas Frack ready to line up for Germany. Do you think that would be on the minds here of Leonie Beck and Anna Marcela Cunha? They need that separation to get away from the likes of what Italy has on that back end, and Andrea Filadelli and Gregorio Patronari and David Bethlehem and Krzysztof Rosowski.
Yes, absolutely. You know, there are some very, very fast men coming up for Italy and Hungary, respectively. Not to say that the other teams don't have incredible talent and speed, but especially from what we saw yesterday, the speed of Italy and Hungary in both races was very impressive. So yeah, there will be a lot of thought that, you know, this is a powerhouse, this is the workhouse legs of the relay where you really set up the potential to get on the podium, and that will definitely be the forefront of their minds, as well as the fact that we have 10k fatigue in us, and we are like absolutely swimming at like max pace for 1500 meters. There'll be a lot of lactate sat in there, a lot of burning, muscle fatigue. So they'll be looking forward to the finish, but all eyes will be focused towards just swimming as fast as they can and getting there as quickly as they can.
So into the final straight now. It is Jinhao Zhang of China leading them through. Anna Marcela Cunha leads the charges for that lead group. Zhang has got about a 20-meter lead over Cunha, who's tied around that turn cam. Leonie Beck currently sitting in second position, third overall. Bettina Fabian behind her. And it looks like it is Veronica Santoni currently holding that fifth position overall. And just behind, we do have Sophie Carlo van Platen with a bit of work ahead of herself. It's interesting to see that the tactics that have come into this open water relay, we've seen it really change since its induction into the 2017 World Championships. Now, at every World Cup stop, it's become much more prevalent for many nations, but more interestingly for me, around how the different nations are racing, with the two female athletes usually leading off now, but the two male athletes have changed ever so slightly, with no longer having those really, really lightning fast 1500-meter swimmers on the finish. They're moving towards sort of having those athletes that are, you know, really technically brilliant racers, the likes of, Krzysztof Rosowski, who we're going to see on the anchor, but also you can't discount Kyle Lee from Australia, who had an exceptional finish ahead of Domenico Azzarenza at the World Championships to get Australia the gold medal. They also took out the functional World Cup stop as well. So do you think that is a concerted effort to move those bigger, stronger, more tactically equipped athletes to that final leg and try and make it a bit more of a dogfight as opposed to a flat-out 1500-meter sprint?
Yes, I absolutely agree. It honestly makes so much sense, because at the end of the day, it is still an open water race. And when you're coming into the finish, you want people finish well, back to back, time to time, and are consistently good at that. Regardless of the fact they might not be the fastest 1500 swimmer, if you're coming into a finish funnel and you're used to this feeling of having to kind of, get over people, get in front, and get your fingers on the touchpad first, you're going to want to prioritize that over having the fastest 1500 swimmer who might end up getting washed out a little bit at the end, not being able to have clear water for their stroke if that's how it suits them, and then getting touched out. So it makes absolute sense to have the fastest swimmers kind of sit in the middle of the race on laps 2 and 3. And then the first lap, you want someone who can really stick in there, stick with the pack and move with it. And then the last lap, you want someone that you will back in the finish funnel.
And open water swimming has a different sort of methodology around its relays to the likes of triathlon, which have the triathlon relays have sort of become a stalwart in that racing as well, now introduced at the Olympic Games. But in triathlon, they mandate the order that the athletes have to be swum in terms of gender. Do you think that's something that we could see introduced to open water swimming, and is that something that you'd want to see?
I think that would be really exciting to have the change and the dynamics. However, it just because I'm not sure actually. Yeah, it's just because it is so condition dependent. It can be so physical. You might end up some countries being like, okay, well that's not fair. I wanted it like this, and so I understand letting the countries have their respective choice and being able to control their athletes and control what they can as much as possible. However, it would be really cool to see it changed up. And I think because it's such a young event at the moment, we probably won't see that for a while. But when it gets, like hopefully bigger on the scene, hopefully get it at the Olympic Games, maybe then World Aquatics can play around with controlling that variable as well.
Yeah, it's certainly an exciting development that we're going to see take place over the next couple of years. For now, though, we follow Jinhao Zhang of China. He has not really opened up bigger lead than we expected. He's about 20 meters in front of Ana Marcela Cunha, who leads the charges, with only Beck in the fight with her alongside Bettina Fabian. And that looks like it might even be Veronica Santoni out swimming by herself. So a bold move by Santoni to get the separation. But as we get a nice shot there of Zhang in his long, strong stroke, talk us through the dynamics that Zhang is working with here.
Yeah, so he's obviously got lovely clear water at the moment. He does have to sight a lot because it is absolutely crucial that you're getting the right lines into this finisher. An extra 2 or 3 meters off can really cost you like valuable time. So yeah, he's built up I guess it's hard to predict what that is over time at the moment, but he's built up a decent lead. It's going to be really exciting to see him hand over to Zinzin and see what she can do with it and how the third lap develops as a wave of men come through.
Yeah, that's right. Jinjin has a tall task ahead of her, but we know she's capable. The 2019 world champion over the 10-kilometer distance. And it's a formidable lineup if you look down to the starting platform now. The likes of David Bethlehem, Mario Sanzullo, Matthias Maletti, Jinjin, of course, Andrea Filadelli, Jonas Kusch. But for now, it has been none other than Jinhao Zhang, who's led us through almost the entirety of this second lap. China hold the lead at this point, halfway into the race. The world champion enters the water, Jinjin, and what a sight that is, Alice.
Absolutely beautiful shot. It's just such a nice, that's such a nice bit of footage there. And yeah, she is going to be going for it. She's a very well experienced athlete. She'll have a lot of experience in doing this, and she'll know that these men are coming for her. Just hoping she can get as far around the course as possible. If they do catch her up, then just sticking on it and moving with them as much as possible.
And almost looks like Hungary might have switched their order here. I think Krzysztof Rozovsky may be in the water. So Bethlehem might be lining up against Gregorio Patronero. Oh no, it is Bethlehem. My apologies. Bethlehem leading the charge for Hungary. He's putting in a big effort early on. I wonder why that is, as there's a fair bit of fighting going around that second can.
Yes. It looks like he's maybe trying to break them as early on as possible. Everyone went through this 10K yesterday. There's a lot of fatigue in there. It might be the logic of just wanting to get in and get this moving as quickly as possible and try to break as many people as you can, especially knowing that you're handing over to some very fast swimmers at the end, just to give your country the highest possible chance of coming home with the gold.
And at this point, we have our Brazilians and Germans in there for the fight. Matthias Maletti, Jonas Kusch, actually both sitting 1 and 2 in that junior points ranking. it's expect here that the pace of Bethlehem and of course Andrea Filadelli might just be ever too slightly fast for what they can do, but it's a good battle nonetheless, and potentially a career-defining swim on the line here for these two youngsters.
Yes, this is another great example of what this relay could provide. It is just more racing time and racing hours for younger athletes, and to get in and to be able to race against, Palchineri, Rosowski, and really be amongst them and know how they swim, know what it feels like. Yes, it's a very different race from the 10K. You're swimming 1500 flat out, but experience like that when it comes down to it, at a world championship level or Olympic level, can really make the difference in your performance.
Yeah, that is so key. That's I guess why the introduction of those junior point totals have been put in place, to make sure that there are races within races for these young athletes. That looks like it was the Matheus Melechi of Brazil chasing down Andrea Filadelli. Filadelli, an interesting case for us, and as we get that shot, I'm not sure on the line who's swimming on what direction.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really interesting. I can't wait to see the wide shot and see who's got the better line here. This is a really difficult position for Zinzin, because she might have the better line, but if you're looking over and seeing them swimming past you and swimming very quickly, as they will be as men, you might be tempted to cut over, but then that's so much lost time. So I think if I was her, I'd stick to my guns as much as possible, make sure I've got the best line. They're going to have to converge together at some point to get around the buoy, and at that point, hopefully, you're on their feet and can stick with them.
Yeah, this is quite dramatic. As you can see on that shot, there's probably about 30 meters in between Jinjin and David Bethlehem, who's leading for the men. David Bethlehem has a lot of experience leading races, so I'd be surprised to see if he isn't on the straightest line, but potentially we saw at the end of the women's race yesterday. There we get the overhead shot. Jinjin well inside the middle of the field.
Inside, yeah. Ooh.
Unfortunately, that's going to cost the Chinese team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the very tough thing about having to lead a race. Just all of a sudden, bam, you're in, and you want to swim as fast as you can. You really want to go for it, and you're going for it. You're putting your head down. You're putting in all this effort, and then suddenly you might look up and realize, oh wait, I'm completely off course. I'm offline. I'm either far too inside or far too outside. I need to cut over. So we do see her moving over now. I'm hoping she can get on the feet of them. It's going to be a very tough ride for her, because these men are absolutely shifting. But she's a well-seasoned athlete, and I'm sure she'll be in good shape, and she'll try to stick in there for as long as she can.
And one of the teams that haven't really popped up in the last couple of minutes, the Italian team number 2, Mario Sanzullo, currently in the water for them. Dario Varani on the anchor. So you're talking about two world champion medalists, and in Dario Varani's case, a world champion. So there is a fair bit of quality sitting just currently in 6th position. I'd expect them to pick up Jinjin on this lap, but do you think Mario and Dario, respectively for Italy, would be hoping that the Brazilians and the Germans get dropped from this pace that is currently being thrown down by Bethlehem?
Yes, I think so. They'll want to place as high as possible. So you'll be banking on the speed from Bethlehem being too fast for some of the swimmers, and just looking for people to pick up as you go. As I said, chasing is so much easier than being chased. It's a difficult position being in sits a little bit further behind. They might maybe pick up Zinzin, keep moving forward, and just keep trying to find white water and feet to get themselves back into the race.
Well, a very interesting shot sort of trying to transpire there. As we see, it looks like currently losing touch with 3rd position is Jonas Kusch of Germany. He's currently just falling off the likes of Matheus Melechi, who's currently sitting in 3rd for Brazil. So this could be that minor medal just slipping away from not only Germany's hand, but potentially the Italian number 2 team as well. This is a great swim here by Brazil. They've never been in the medals in a World Cup relay. Could we potentially be seeing what is a monumental event for the Brazilians. And I guess off the back of the performance we saw yesterday from Ana Marcela Cunha and Vivian Jungblut, this is could be a great meet for the Brazilians.
Absolutely, yes, I agree. It's going to be a very exciting finish, I think, because I do think it will end up being between Italy and Hungary into the finish. However, that competition for third is going to be just as exciting and just as thrilling. He's doing a very good work here to stay within touching distance of these two swimmers. And, you know, it's that exciting thing of, if it's just three people swimming, you know you have a medal. You know, if it's just like three people swimming by themselves, there's a bit of a gap between fourth and fifth, etc. It's exciting. You know, you're going to want to compete for the highest place, potentially, of course, but to be able to break away into top 1, 2, 3, he'll be doing everything in his power to make sure that that is the case.
We just got a great shot there of David Bethlehem ducking under the turn can. You know, for most people watching at home, the duck around the can, a little bit of a semi-duck. What's the methodology behind that?
Yes, I would often duck under the buoy in that way to make sure it's as tight as possible. I have been told, you know, be careful because it might look like you've skipped the buoy. You have to be very, very selective about how you do it. Just be careful. But it is always like the fastest way to get into it, to keep it as tight as possible, move around it, and try not to break your stroke too much as you have to go around it.
And the race is shaping up nicely here. Jonas Kusch doing as much as he can to keep in touch with Matheus Malechi on the anchor. Brazil will have Lucas Machado. Didn't finish yesterday in the 10 kilometers. Unfortunately, was a withdrawal during the race. We know the conditions are quite tough. The water is a little bit cold for some athletes. On the German side, Nicholas Frack was 18th yesterday in the 10 kilometers and was in the Soma Bay relay as well. So he has some experience on those tight finishes. For the minor medals at the moment, I'm going to put you on the spot once again. Who's your pick, Brazil or Germany?
Ooh, I think Brazil. I think the gap that's being created here is enough to really change the dynamic of third and fourth position. I think once they get into the finish area, and you know, if there is a gap that's, even if it's 3 or 4 seconds, once you get on the feet of Rosowski and Paltrinieri, being able to move through with them and have that speed is going to be crucial for Brazil to stay ahead of Germany.
That's a great point, and I think they are certainly in that powerhouse now. When we look at the top two, and we're expecting the gold and silver to really come out of Hungary and Italy, our two pre-race picks as well, so a little bit on the line for them, and I guess more on the line for us. Krzysztof Rosowski, Gregorio Paltrinieri, a 14:32 1500-meter swimmer, the second fastest of all time. Krzysztof Rosowski, his PB currently 14:51, but on form alone, obviously Rosowski is absolutely flying in 2024. And we did talk, of course, around, you know, those tactical swimmers and I guess using not just the entire 1500-meter, but that final 100-meter spurt. You're still backing Krzysztof Rosowski to take the win?
Oh man, I think so. You know, I've got to stick to my guns. I called this early on, like yesterday afternoon. I was like, yeah, I think Hungary's got it. So, honestly, they're both two such incredible swimmers. I think, again, we've really been treated to some amazing head-to-heads throughout yesterday and also today in today's race. So, I think, like you've been saying, actually, I think the winners will be the viewers and ourselves being able to commentate on this and really see some fantastic swimming. But have you still got Italy for the win for this?
Well, I suppose I have to. I called it pre-race. I would say when it comes down to a head-to-head, there's probably only two people in the world that are better at a head-to-head race than Krzysztof Rosowski. So he is he's an incredible swimmer, and like you said, the winners are us and the fans, and I'm sure Christoph and Gregorio are going to put on an absolute show once more. But yeah, I'll back Gregorio on the fact he didn't have a great race yesterday. Finished 33rd overall in the 10 kilometers, and being a home crowd, you can't discount that to the ability to come home with those adoring fans.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have some fire in him today. They both will respectively for different reasons. So I really think we're going to be treated to something special here. You know, there's pride on the line. It's fun. It's exciting getting to swim for your country in this way. So yeah, I'm really excited. And the effort from Bethlehem and the current Italian swimmer at the moment is absolutely monumental. And as well, Brazil staying within touching distance of that. That is another fantastic swim because this pace is not slow.
Yeah, that is bang on, and credit to, I guess, Jonas Kusch, to be able to hold on to what has been a lightning fast lap. But here we are, about 400 meters to go. This is lap 3 of 4. This is the 4x1500 meter mixed relay in Golfo Aranci, the final day of competition here in what is a beautiful part of the world. We're about 22 minutes away from the finish of today's race, and we have absolutely no idea how the medals are going to go, which is very, very exciting. My name is Will Rollo, joined today by Alice Deering, calling the action throughout the World Cups this year, and what a pleasure it is. Alice, as we mentioned throughout yesterday's broadcast, the Olympic Games just around the corner. For many of these athletes, like David Bethlehem, the final time that they'll race going into the Paris Olympic Games, how much will this experience mean to them, and I guess almost as a confident booster?
Yes, this is going to be huge. Both for, I suppose, physical experience, you know, getting some racing meters done. You know, whilst it is a competition, it also is so important to your training regime to make sure that you're racing often. You can't recreate these scenarios in the pool or even in open water settings when you're training. It's completely different. You know, the fatigue and the stress that your body's under, that your mind's under, you can't really recreate. So getting racing meters done in season is absolutely crucial. But of course, for confidence and mental strength, mental fortitude, it is absolutely crucial that you're moving into Paris feeling very confident and excited for the race, that you want to get in and show what you can do.
We just had some great shots before of David Bethlehem absolutely churning through the water. You can see just behind him Andrea Filadelli doing his absolute most to try and pull up alongside, but Bethlehem holding that pace down. There is that gap now opening up to the Brazilian team in Matheus Miletti. This is what that second Italian team would have liked to happen on the other side of the course, but Filadelli putting in a massive effort. You look at Bethlehem's stroke, he's so efficient with the way that he swims and continuing to keep that 6-beat kick throughout. Truly one of the best strokes in the field, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. To be putting down this effort, this speed, with, you know, your hip flexors feeling absolutely dead from yesterday, your shoulders feeling so tired. But seeing the commitment from the swimmers is absolutely amazing. It looks like we're having an overtake here. Oh, this is going to be an amazing last lap.
Yeah, Filadelli wants all the smoke here. He wants to make sure that Paltrineri gets to be able to swim around that first can in first position. He knows that if Paltrineri is able to sit in front, then he's going to be very hard to swim around. Rozovsky, though, looking there on that starting platform, I don't think I've ever seen someone so relaxed before a race. Dario Varani now, he has a bit of work to do in that second Italian cap, Neris Rozovsky, but if anyone could do it, it is Dario Varani. But what an absolute treat we have ahead of us as Gregorio Paltrineri, 14:32 the time for 1500 meters. And we have another battle here between Bethlehem and Filadelli as they come now under the timing arch. Handover. It is Bethlehem ever so slightly ahead of
Oh.
Philadelphia, Hungary lead Italy, and we have a race on our hands here, Alice.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. And, you know, Brazil are in a great position here to really cement that third place. But talking about first and second, yeah, this is going to be a very hot lap. It's going to be very fast. It'll be really interesting to see if any tactics are played or if it's just going to be a battle of swimming speed.
Yeah, I think Rozovsky will obviously want it to be tactical, but no doubt that Paltrineri is going to be wanting to be on flat-out pace. So we'll get an update shortly. Currently, Dario Verani just celebrating with the crowd. The Brazilians had an incredible changeover there. Lucas Machado now in the water, and as we mentioned before, didn't finish yesterday's race. You can see, maybe you are right, Alice. Christoph's just taking the pace out of it ever so slightly. It's bunched up, so Lucas has jumped across and potentially sewn up Brazil that third medal.
Yes, this is a great effort from Brazil to put themselves back into well, not that they were out of the race, but to really just hammer those first 200 meters, get in a comfortable position so you don't have to do too much work by yourself. But yeah, it's interesting. Rozovsky's just taking the pace out of it. I understand why. You know, it's one of those things where if you really, well, they're still swimming very fast, please don't get me wrong. But it's one of those things you don't want to kill yourself too much, especially if you're the one leading, because it can get to that point where we just saw it happen, where it can really become a game of cat and mouse, to and fro. Who's going to get their hand on the touchpad first? And do we see, is Paltrineri overtaking here?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's trying to get around him. I think, well, this is going to be key here from Rozovsky, and we'll see, as you see now, Paltrineri just trying to get a little bit of separation away from Rozovsky. Bit of cat and mouse going on, and this is exactly what Germany would have wanted. Nicholas Frock would be swimming with all his might, trying to jump across to Lucas Machado before it gets too far away. But I suspect that Rozovsky would want Paltrineri to sort of pull up alongside him. He's going to sit on the hip there. And that positioning, that sitting on the hip as opposed to the feet, not only is it a little bit faster for you to drag off, it more importantly takes a lot of, I guess, takes a bit more of a toll physically on that athlete, right?
Yes, absolutely. Any swimmer hates someone sitting on their hip or sitting right next to them on their shoulder, basically going for it stroke for stroke. Rozovsky is doing exactly what I think he should. It's very tactical, it's smart, it's open water racing, it's pure open water racing. And Paltrineri, who has a very, very prestigious and strong background in the pool, who will be traditionally used to his own water, having his own space. He's obviously been in open water for a few years now, so he's used to these feelings. So he's got the best of both worlds of experience. But this is going to shape up to be something very interesting, and they're just going stroke for stroke at the moment.
And if you look at the last couple of big relays, or in Funchal and Doha, we had Australia, Italy, France, and then Australia, Italy, Hungary. In Summer Bay, we saw France, Italy, and Germany. Last year in Golfo Aranci, we had Germany, Italy, and France making up the medals. So this is we're used to seeing Italy and Hungary up in the competition, but Brazil really trying to put their best foot forward to be considered in that top three powerhouse.
Yeah, it's great to see more nations committing to this and bringing, people to really swim and really race these races. It's absolutely fantastic that we see the same countries dominating it. It shows the depth that they have firstly, but also the drive they have in open water, which fuels these competitions and makes them so impressive and competitive, as that sounds really obvious, but you want to have the best people in the world competing. So it's great to see two Italian teams in this, for example, that they have the number of people there to be able to put two teams out. But exactly, the more countries that we see getting involved in this, the better. And it's absolutely fantastic to see Brazil up here within medal contention. And it's going to be, this is such an exciting lap.
Well, so on that, obviously, Brazil, through their current swimmer and Lucas Machado, he is doing a great job to just sit in between the wake of Paltrineri and Rozovsky. Rozovsky on what I would say the better line, being on the inside of Paltrineri. Given the two are great friends, I can't imagine that Paltrineri is going to play any funny games around these turning cans. At the moment, you know, we're watching Rozovsky and Paltrineri. They are moving very quickly, but they don't look like they're trying that hard. What sort of percentage range do you think they're sitting at the moment?
Yeah, they will both be kind of looking across each other, not wanting to put out too much effort so the other one ends up getting the draft. It's that delicate balance of I need to keep moving, but at the same time have something in the reserve tank. Make sure that the last 100, 200 meters, when you really want to put down that effort and go for it, that you can. But also, if the other person puts down that effort and tries to go for any point, that you can keep up with them. So it's always such an interesting game, looking across at your opponent and judging how hard are they trying, and hoping in your head that they at least feel equal to how you're feeling, if not worse.
And we just saw Nicholas Frock just behind. He'd obviously be going at 100%, trying to catch up to Lucas Machado in that position as the athlete that is working as hard as they can to jump across. What do you think Nicholas would be going through right now, and how does he adjust to try and make that final gain into catching?
Yes, this is tough. You know, you're swimming, you can see them in front of you, and you're like, okay, I need to catch up. It is an exciting position to be in because you know what's at stake, you know what you can do for your country, you know what you can gain from doing this. But it's tough because, you know, you've got Paltrineri and Rozovsky driving at the front. They're obviously in hot contention with each other, but he's putting in a fantastic effort here, and I think he's caught them basically here, especially going around the buoy. If he gets a good turn here, this is going to be absolutely crucial to him getting back into that white water, and maybe taking a minute just to enjoy the fact that he's caught them up, and then looking to move around and punch as high as he can.
And I think a key point that you talked about yesterday was using the turn cans to look back and see where everyone's sitting. Currently, we just saw Lucas Machado go through third there. There's about 2.5 meters, maybe a little bit more, to Nicholas Frack. Do you think Lucas would have had a look back there and been a bit worried?
Yes, this is the thing, you know. This is such a delicate place for Brazil to be sat in, because you know Germany are coming through with some speed, and you're sat on the feet of two of the fastest swimmers on the circuit and two of the most competitive swimmers on the circuit, and they might not be going as fast as they want to because they want to conserve energy, but you're enjoying sitting in their wake, and might not feel that you have the speed or the power to be able to overtake them. So you're kind of at the mercy of both Rozovsky and Paltrineri here. And as we've seen that, the German swimmer's caught them. He's actually, we can tell he's slowed down his rate a little bit. And like I said, he's enjoying the draft. He's enjoying the fruits of his labour from the past maybe like 800 metres, where he's really had to commit to catching up. And it's such a nice feeling when you catch up that draft. You take that moment and just be like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. This is so much more relaxing. He's going to kind of let his heart rate come down, relax, know that he's done that hard work, and get ready for the last 300-400 meters of the race to be able to come past and put himself in medal contention.
Yeah, Nicholas Frack would be feeling like an absolute king at the moment, knowing that he's just swum his team 10 seconds back into medal contention, and unfortunately for Lucas Machado, he is about to go to war with Nicholas Frack over the final 800 meters of this race. Expect to see a little bit of a gap opening up here as Rozovsky and Paltrineri start to churn through. We've talked through today's race, and we talked about it yesterday. When you look at Rozovsky and Paltrineri, they were third and fourth respectively at the last Olympic Games. They're both heading to Paris. They've both got an eye on potentially an Olympic gold medal. Florian Wellbrock stands as a big contender, as well as a number of other competitors. How much do you think Paltrinieri and Rozovsky are going to watch back this final 800 meters to see if there's anything to gain, should there be that final lap in Paris where these two are swimming head to head?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is such a great point. This is just a precursor warm-up to what we're going to be treated to in Paris over 10 kilometers. It's going to be so crucial. They will be checking back, like also just making sure you're in the moment, knowing what's happening. You know, obviously your body's going through pain, everything's kind of firing up and lighting up, but you need to concentrate on what's happening. Oh, we're seeing a split off here.
Yeah, that's a big move there around the turn can for Paltrinieri to try and get some space. He knows that that tactical sprint is going to favor Rozovsky, but you see now Alice Rozovsky jumping across really quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. Rozovsky is just one of those racers who is not going to let you get away from him. He's going to stick in there. He's going to fight it out with you. It's absolutely beautiful open water swimming, and you know, Paltrinieri did put in quite a bit of an effort there, especially to move away, but Rozovsky's just straight back on him within about 15 seconds, making sure that he's still within touching distance, and he's basically saying, "You're not getting away from me yet. We're gonna leave it down to the finish funnel, and then may the best man win."
Well, you compare these two athletes to similar to what we've seen. We actually just on that, we've seen a change in third position now. Nicholas Frack has moved ahead of Lucas Machado. Germany all but tied up that bronze medal. So what a final lap there by Nicholas Frack. But as we were saying, these two athletes in Paltrinieri and Rozovsky, similar to the way that Leonie Beck and Anna Marcela Cunha race, with Cunha the example in Rozovsky, much more tactical, and Paltrinieri with the speed, wanting that separation. So we saw at the end of the women's race, Leonie Beck went way outside the course and to get that separation, and we might be seeing that separation start again. Do you think this is intentional here by Paltrinieri?
Yes, absolutely. He took a good long look up to see what he wanted to do, but we're seeing Nicholas Frost is this is an absolutely great tip. This is going to be really close, actually. You know, we might both be wrong with with who wins.
Well, Frock he's just stayed true to line. He's not worried about the politics between Paltrinieri and Rozovsky. I do expect when they adjust their line, they're going to come home with an absolute flurry. But Nicholas Frock has backed himself here. This is a brave move.
Yeah, I absolutely love this confidence by him. He put in an amazing leg. I honestly think this was probably the swim of the relay, if I'm not speaking too early. Obviously, we're having an amazing battle between Paltrinieri and Rozovsky here, but that effort that he put in to get back on the feet, come past the Brazilian swimmer, and then also is going basically stroke for stroke with Rozovsky and Paltrinieri whilst they're kind of battling it out. And it's that issue of, you know, yeah, he's done very well to separate himself from it and be like, okay, I'm going to swim my own line, let those two fight it over there, and when I need them, I'll come find their hips and come find their feet, and then we can have fun in the finish funnel.
Yeah, and you can see Rozovsky trying to fight back as well now. Alice, he's put a surge in and sort of closing back across to Frock, but this is going to be an intense final battle as they now join in alignment once more.
I absolutely love this. This is open water swimming. This is great, and you know, they'll be friends as well. They'll be high-fiving each other at the finish. There won't be any animosity here. You know, it's obviously a big competition, but it's not Olympic medals on the line or anything like that. This is just good racing. This is amazing experience, especially for Frost, who will be. He should be very proud of himself getting back up on this speed. I don't know what his pull times are. He's clearly a very fast swimmer. This is absolutely amazing swimming from all three competitors.
Well, as you see in the shot now, that red buoy is usually the directional buoy. They are finishing on the other side of the starting pontoon for this relay in the usual finish arch area, but they have gone fairly wide early on, and you can see the battle that's currently undertaking in this position. You got to back Rozovsky in between the Italian and the German. He's got both wakes sort of driving him forward, but Nicholas Fruck is also, he's got that benefit of not being in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so much fun. You can hear the smile in my voice. Fruck's taken I guess a different line. I'd love to see the angle of the finish funnel when we get down to it. But this really does look like quite a dogfight, and they're just going stroke for stroke, speed for speed. No, you can't really call whose arms in front of each other. They're literally, the heads are straight in line with each other. And Frost moved back into the fray now, wanting to get some of that hip draft from Rozovsky. And I think they're just kind of trying to find their strokes and trying to make sure no one's stealing anything from them.
Yeah, so here we go. 300 meters to go, and it's a battle of three. It is Pautrineri, Rozovsky, and Nicholas Fruck of Germany, who has swum an incredible race to get up in alignment with our big two in Italy and Hungary. Armani sitting with Italy and Hungary respectively, but Germany wanting to retain that title from last year. Anyone's race, but Alice, the winner today, once more, the spectator.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, if you've never watched the relay before, if this is your first time, this is such a great place to start. This is what the relay is about. It's fun, it's exciting. Don't forget, we've seen 3 other swimmers get in for all 3 of these countries and give it their absolute best. And now we're coming into the finish funnel. The strokes ramping up here, and here goes Pautrineri.
Yeah, Pautrineri is absolutely charging. Rozovsky in the middle, Fruck on the outside as they come down with the final stroke. Who's going to get on the touchboard? It looks like it's going to be Pautrineri, the Italian. Wins it in front of the home crowd, and the crowd goes wild. The first time Italy pick up gold here in Golfo Aranci through the first 2 editions of this World Cup, and you can see, Alice, just how much it means to the home nation to get a win on top of the podium.
Absolutely massive. That was amazing swimming from Pautrineri, holding his own, holding his gut, and leaving it down to the final 25 to 30 meters to really put in that extra effort and get his fingers on the touch pad first. And we see Germany finish second as well. It's an absolutely amazing leg from Nicholas Fruck.
That's incredible to out-touch the likes of Krzysztof Rozovsky, who is one of the best tacticians in the sport, is truly incredible. Brazil in 4th, and what a great race they put together. Lucas Machado just fading ever so slightly on that final leg. But the big 3 remains, Italy, Germany, and Hungary. What a podium and what a performance it was from those top 3 athletes.
Huge, absolutely massive. They should feel very proud of themselves. They're going to be very tired. It's been like a tough 2 days of racing. That probably ended up being much harder than they wanted it to, but it's absolutely fantastic to see that they fully committed to it, and there was no one that backed out of it, no one that thought, oh, I'm too tired, or I've got the Olympics to think about, or anything like that. It's absolutely great, and I think we just is this the last swimmer finishing?
Yeah, we've still got the 6 teams in the water coming down. I believe that was our Italian team number 2 finishing across. That was Dario Verani. Just too much work to do on that final leg, but Dario and Italy well represented today, of course, with the podium sitting with them. And we see that shot, Gregorio Pautrineri, what a freak athlete he is. The home crowd is ecstatic. They have wanted a win here in Golfo Aranci, and on the second day of our second year of competition, they deliver with what was a clinical performance from Gregorio Pautrineri. He waited all the way into the final 50 meters to get the win, and a deserving win in that. Now China across the line. That was Pixin Liu. 6 teams across the line, Alice, and what a race that was from all 6.
Absolutely fantastic. There were so many fun dynamics that were played with there, so many fun races within each leg, and incredible efforts put out. We just did an interview with Pautrineri here.
Yeah, so special to have Pautrineri, who is a hometown hero, and I guess open water swimming is growing in fame around the world, but none more than Italy is it adored, and the Junior World Championships set to head to Italy this year, and I'm sure there's many Italian youngsters that would idolize this man in Gregorio Patronero. You can see what it means for the crowd. We'll see the reception now, but also the reception that he will receive the medal ceremony. That won't be too far away. It's so special to see when open water is given the light like it is in Italy, what it can mean to these communities. And I guess that's what our job is as custodians of the sport, to foster that spirit around the world. And Alice, when we have races like today, it makes our job a lot easier.
Absolutely. This is just such a brilliant and exciting sport, and it really does deserve more recognition than it gets. You know, the athletes, that they put in so much hard work, so much effort, so much talent, years and years of cultivating their craft and growing. So it's absolutely great to see so every team here, all 6 teams, getting the recognition that they deserve, and having such a nice crowd to do it in front of too.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're going to travel anywhere to watch a race, why would you not travel to Golfo Aranci? What a beautiful location that we've been able to race in over the last 2 days. I guess when we look at Gregorio Patronero, we know the stoicism that carries with his character. And 1432, an Olympic gold medalist back from Rio, bronze medalist in the 10 kilometers in Tokyo. The story is already written and continues to be added to around Gregorio Patronero, but he finished 33rd yesterday in the 10 kilometers, and he's come back to produce a performance like that. That must take a lot of courage.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a competitor, he's a fighter, you know. Bad days happen. They happen to every athlete, and 33rd for him, he would probably consider that a disappointment, a tough day at the office, and to have not backed out of doing the relay because someone of his credibility and his I guess status in the sport, he could have easily said, actually no, I'm going to leave the relay aside. I don't want to do it. To get in and to give it the effort that he did, and to come home with a gold medal with his team, with his countrymen, is just so special. It's just fantastic to see. He's a great ambassador for the sport, and competitor, of course, as well.
And a key point that you touched on earlier in the race is around how important the relay is for fostering more than one racing opportunity. Someone like Gregorio, who obviously has plenty of experience in his own right, but to be able to come back and potentially race for the last time before the Olympics and have a great race as opposed to what he would have considered an average day at the office, how important is that for his confidence?
Absolutely, yes. To come back the day after probably having a tough day, get in, race against Rosowski, who did have a good swim, be able to touch him out, and to have that sprint finish at the end. And also just to have that feeling of the crowd, of your home nation, is really special. And again, as we've been talking about confidence leading into Paris as kind of the theme, I suppose, of the past couple of days. We saw it with the French athletes, we saw it with the Brazilian athletes, and again now with Italy and Hungary. I'm really hoping they walk away from this feeling confident, feeling proud, as they should, for putting on such amazing swimming in the Olympic year. I'm looking forward to Paris in, oh my gosh, it's like 60 days away or something now, isn't it? It's coming very, very quickly.
Yeah, just around the corner. It certainly is exciting for sure. And again, touching on, we sound like broken records, how good and how sport we are as fans at the moment to have such a great sport, have such great sportsmanship, and have so much to celebrate, as we touched on with the Marc-Antoine Olivier and Logan Fontaine heading up the podium in yesterday's race. Obviously that means a lot for them and will be cherished by their home nation in about 60 days time when they race in the River Seine. For now though, we will be looking to do our medal presentation for the mixed 4x1500m relay very shortly. Also do some presentations around the updates of the series point leaders. And I guess, last year we introduced the 2 additional categories for athletes to win, those being the sprint points and our junior points. It's shaping up to be quite exciting here, and I'm sure those sprint points will be something for these athletes to really work forward the end of the season.
Yes, I absolutely love this. It really celebrates the fact that there will be some swimmers who get in and race hard and race fast, but traditionally, without the sprint points, without the sprint prizes, they didn't get that recognition. You know, sometimes you're at the front and you drop away and you might finish like 7th or 8th. And yes, you get a little bit of money, but for the effort that you put into the race of making it exciting, making it dynamic, bringing the speed, leading is so difficult in open water. So I think it's absolutely fantastic World Aquatics are recognizing those swimmers and those efforts, and just making the sport more dynamic in that way.
Well, yeah, that is a fantastic point, because you look at someone like David Bethlehem, who we talked about yesterday, unfortunately missing out on the medals once again. He did lead for the majority of the race. So for him to take home, I guess, some points with regards to the men's sprint rankings for 2024 is going to be crucial to the development of him as an athlete. And I'm sure that was part of the intention of how he raced yesterday. And similarly with Ginevra Taducci, just nudging out Bettina Fabian to lead the sprint rankings for the women. It's an exciting time to be watching those athletes take to the water. So we will be conducting our medal ceremony as soon as we can, but for now we'll let our athletes finish, or I guess cool down for some of them. For others, they'll just be celebrating, it looks like.
Dietro il palco sta lavorando tutti gli operatori della sicurezza, delle campo gara, ristoratori, la squadra di video sound che è curata da regia,
So just a reminder, we will be conducting the medal presentation of the mixed 4x1500m freestyle relay here at Golfo Aranci for 2024. This is the World Aquatics Open Water Swimming World Cup, presenting the Italian team, who will stand proudly on top of the dais. We'll also be presenting our sprint rankings, our junior rankings, and our overall series rankings at the conclusion of our medal presentation. And then that will wrap up all the action here in Golfo Aranci. So we're just minutes away. Please stay tuned. So moments away once more from the medal presentation of the mixed 4x1500m freestyle relay. What a race it was. The 6 teams taking to the water: Hungary, Italy, Brazil, China, Italy again, and Germany. We were treated furthermore to some of the greatest racing this open water scene has ever seen. A great time to be a fan of open water swimming. Some highlights now. Here were the Germans being introduced. Leonie Beck looked absolutely fierce, as did Jeanette Spearworks, who led them off as a 6th female race to start off the competition. We don't often see that, but it was good to see. Barbara Pozzebon there looking confident as well for the Italian team. Number 2 underway off the start. 4 laps took place. China sitting just off the back in that lead group in the 6th position. Early on, it was Vivian Jungblut of Brazil that held the lead following her fine form from yesterday. Ginevra Taducci moving forward after about 500 meters. You get this shot right now as Taducci started to make a move, but it was Spyworks and Jungblut that controlled the pace early on. Taducci.
Yeah, these women put in a... sorry, hi. Sorry. These women put in such a great effort at the start. You know, Taducci really taking it out and setting the pace for the rest of the race.
That's right. Taducci, we spoke at great length about her incredibly high stroke rate, but it's efficient for her, and that's what works. And I guess that's open water swimming. There's no one size fits all.
No, absolutely not. And I think that's what's so great about this sport is that I think any shape and size can get into it and can do it. You see some women sitting at the more petite end, and then you see some women sitting at a much taller, longer end, a bit more bulkier, a bit more muscle to them. So I think it's absolutely brilliant that it really can fit everybody.
Signori, Golfo Aranci, diamo
That is bang on, and I guess goes to show just how versatile you can be. As we move back now to the medal presentation area for the 4x1500m mixed relay. This is the victory ceremony. Our 3 teams looking to step up today. What a race it was, Alice. We really didn't know how it was going to play out. Ultimately, it was a great race for all.
Absolutely right, and I think you could take some glory from this as well, predicting the Italians with the win. And of course, great intuition and open water knowledge from yourself. But you know, Germany, I think, should be very proud of their performance, as should all 3 of the teams. But I really think Nicholas Frach, with his effort at the end, is the swim of the relay for me.
Yeah, that's a great point. And look how tall and strong he looks out there on the far side. Just 27 years of age for Nicholas Frach, and I'm sure there's a bright future ahead with the competition. Obviously sitting with Florian Wellbrock and Olli Clement as the top 2 Germans. But this is Team Hungary in 3rd position. What a swim they had. Mira Sismak, Bettina Fabian, David Bethlehem, and Krzysztof Rozowski. And here they are, the proud Hungarians. I think 3rd in Doha, 3rd once again here today. This will not be the last time we hear of Hungary on the podium.
Absolutely not. An incredible swimming nation, incredible open water swimming nation, and consistently back-to-back medals, both individually and as a relay. It's fantastic swimming.
Yeah, I'm sure they have continued to invest in this relay, and it does pay off. But when you see them out of the water, you just get a good sense of how strong Krzysztof Rozowski really is. He is a man mountain.
Yeah, he's an absolute unit. Yeah, I can see why you don't really want to get too close to him moving into the finish funnel. Absolute powerhouse, and it's great to see them getting the prizes from the local area as well. It's always such a fantastic addition to winning a medal.
That's right, something to cherish the moment with. Moving now to 2nd position. It was the Germans, and one of your favorites, Nicholas Frach on the anchor, Jonas Kusch, Leonie Beck, and Jeanette Spyworks make the team up. What an incredible finish to the race.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful swimming from them, and great to see the sportsmanship of shaking the hands of their fellow competitors. Yeah, just they should be really proud coming away with a successful competition, I believe, and moving through, if they're at Europeans, it'd be great to see them there again.
And what a treat for them as well. Obviously, we've seen what Jonas Kusch and Nicholas Frach can do, but you add into the mix Leah Boy potentially alongside Olli Clement and Florian Wellbrock. It is a formidable task to take down the Germans.
Absolutely. There is so much depth in all 3 of these nations that we're seeing on the podium at the moment. The talent, the speed, the drive, the passion that they all have really creates this amazing arena of competition in open water.
That is a great point. And from one of the deepest to no questionably the deepest federations, standing on top for the first time here in Golfo Aranci, and what a fashion they did it in. The team from Italy, Ginevra Taducci, Veronica Santoni, Andrea Filidelli, Gregorio Paucineri, a greatly earned championship. And you can hear just how much it means to the home crowd. What a special moment for these athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to take this medal away at their home in front of a home crowd, yeah, you can see how much this means. It's beautiful to see.
And it's just so great to see Gregorio Patroneri celebrating as well. Obviously, didn't have the best of days yesterday, finishing 33rd in that 10 kilometers, but to bounce back and finish in the way that he did alongside his teammates in Philadelphia, Taducci and Santoni is truly special, and special for us as well, because we get to hear the Italian national anthem, in my opinion, the best national anthem.
Yeah, it's fun, it's upbeat, and I'm sure the crowd will be clapping along as well. So yeah, this is a really nice way to finish off this leg. The last World Cup series before the Olympics will be back in Sechibao in October.
That's right. Plenty to cheer about here, and then we get to see the likes of Mafalda Rosa move to the hometown hero. But for now, the moment belongs to Italy as they take out the gold in this mixed 4x1500m freestyle relay. And we invite you all to celebrate along with them with the national anthem of Italy. One of the best national anthems, and you can hear the crowd enjoying this moment once more. Truly a special time to see Italy on top here in Golfo Aranci. The first time in the 2 years it has been here, and what a showing once more. We had three incredible races. Marc-Antoine Olivier sneaking home in gold alongside Anna Marcella Cunha in the women's 10 kilometers. And today, Italy remain on top of the dais. Alice, what a show it has been.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic 2 days of racing. We've really been treated to, I think, a precursor before the Olympic Games. We've just seen Leonie Beck here get a selfie. She always gets such fantastic content, and it's just great to see the athletes happy, enjoying competing, enjoying their moment on the podium, and looking forward to Europeans and then to the Olympic Games. It's going to be a very exciting few weeks.
Yeah, it's certainly a good opportunity for us to shine a light on the competition. As you said, Europeans and then the Olympics, and then we'll be heading to the World Cups later on in the year, the next stop being in Setúbal. Alice, you know, it's a good time to be a fan. I guess if you were wanting to watch along, any suggestions on where they should watch?
If you want to watch along with everything, I think definitely follow World Aquatics. Make sure you're up to date with everything. Check out some of the swimmers as well. We spoke about so many fantastic swimmers. Don't be afraid to check them out on socials and follow them, because it only helps build their profile.
Well, it's been a pleasure calling the action alongside one of the very best in Alice Steering, Tokyo 2020 Olympian. My name is Will Rollo, and as we've mentioned throughout, it is a year of swimming. So We look forward to next time we join you, but for now, we say goodbye from the beautiful bay here in Golfo Aranci, as we have now seen a great weekend of competition in the Open Water Swimming World Cup season.